Hello, my fellow readers and writers. I'm RL Writer, and this is my YouTube channel dedicated to both reading and writing. So today, I'm doing a book recommendation video. It's going to be, I'm going to try to keep it short, but some of these books are like my favorites of all time, and I can't help but want to talk about them a lot. But anyway, I'm doing 6 books, so 6 categories. 1 book per genre. I got this. Won't try to add in any, even though I want to. I'll tell you the categories now, so that way, you have a general sense of what's going on. Fantasy, science fiction, a combination of fantasy and science fiction, thriller / mystery, really, because it's kind of both. Dystopia and historical fiction. I'm gonna try not to wander too much, but we'll see. First book. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. First book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy and part of the Grishaverse. I'll read the blurb and then I'll talk about it. Soldier, Summoner, Saint. Orphaned and expendable, Alina Starkov is a soldier who knows she may not survive her first trek across the Shadowfold, a swath of unnatural darkness crawling with monsters. But when her regiment is attacked, Alina unleashes dormant magic not even she knew she possessed. Now Alina will enter a lavish world of royalty and intrigue as she trains with the Grisha, her country's magical elite, and falls under the spell of their notorious leader, the Darkling. He believes Alina can summon a force capable of destroying the Shadowfold and reuniting their war-ravaged country, but only if she can master her untamed gift. As the threat to the kingdom mounts and Alina unlocks the secrets of her past, she will make a dangerous discovery that could threaten all she loves in the very future of a nation. I'll start by saying, the Darkling, I really like the Darkling, although he kind of lowered in favor as the book went on, but he's still one of my favorites. I mean, his vibe and his power of course, manipulating darkness, aka why he's the Darkling, obviously, and being an amplifier. I thought that was really cool how Leigh Bardugo added in how they have amplifiers as well as both ornamentation from magical creatures, but also how he himself was an amplifier. That was interesting. Anyway, my other favorite is probably Alina. Sometimes I wanted to yell and shake her, but besides that, she was really great. I liked her a lot. Her power of light was really interesting. I liked how she struggled to use it because of how far she pushed it down. Because, well, she didn't want to be separated from Mal. Spoiler, I'm sorry. But, I mean, it kind of hints that in the before. But Mal. I did not like him a whole lot at the start. I'm sorry. For people who've read this book, they might understand a little bit of what I'm talking about. But I couldn't. He was that one ladies' man friend, I couldn't do it. But then, I learned that he was a competent tracker and all. My dude slayed in the later half of the book. So he definitely earned back favor with that. The setting is kind of based off of Russia. Actually, no, it is based off of Russia. I'm pretty sure the author herself says that in this book, even in the little back matter. It was really interesting how it also added in the fact that Russia, the time and era of magic is slowly falling as rise of guns and gunpowder and all that is coming up. I liked how she included that. It felt very much accurate in a sense, And then the plot was, the whole, I don't think I'm really that special. It must have been a mistake. I can't be the chosen one, the one who could, actually decimate this dark spot whole thing. But then she grows into her power. I really liked that, how she was like so unsure of herself, although sometimes it was frustrating. And then slowly began to, feel more comfortable with her power until the end where she uses it without hesitation. Let's see. My favorite part of it, okay, first of all, the cover is gorgeous. Look at this. But my favorite part is probably how she overcame the end when, I can't say this without spoiling it, so I'll just say, when she overcame a situation where basically she made a mistake, got herself into a situation that she could have avoided, but then she managed to overcome it and then completely confound the person who put her in the situation. And I thought that was awesome. Okay, let's go with this book next. That was a fantasy, if that wasn't obvious. I should really say what genres they're in. Okay, sci-fi's next, with a little bit of utopian, actually. Scythe by Neil Shusterman. Oh my gosh, love this. Thou shalt kill. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all those things and has even conquered death. Now scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own. They learn living in a perfect world comes only with a heavy price. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I loved it so much. Especially, don't get me wrong, I loved Citra, her tenacity, and just how she was, just generally. I really liked her. But Rowan, oh my gosh, he's my favorite. Even though the situation he got put in was absolutely terrible, he slayed so hard. Sorry. I kind of have to spoil a little bit just because, like, half of the book is about after an event that happened that's kind of drives the plot. But yeah, the setting though, we'll get back to all that in a moment, but the setting was, this utopian society. You can turn back your age, so you could be like 300 and look like you're 25. I mean, I wouldn't really want to do that, but you do you, I guess. This was splatting. One of Rowan's friends, Tiger, would purposefully splat, aka jump off of a building, splat on the ground, and then they'd scrape him off, send him to a revival center, and he'd be fine. It's like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. It's just, compared to like this day and age, it's like so different. It's like a little psychotic. But the plot was so good. It twisted so many times. I did not see things that were coming. But I will spoil this. Scythe Faraday, the scythe that chooses to train both Citra and Rowan, dies. And of course, one of the not so great scythes, Scythe Goddard, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, maybe, decides, you know what, I'm going to take them both in, because I don't like him, sorry. But Scythe Curie, which was a friend of Faraday's, actually was like, nope, I'm going to take one of them, and took Citra. So Citra got this excellent scythe training. Rowan, on the other hand, did not. I mean, he's a great killer, right? But it wasn't great, if you get what I'm saying. Like, How can I say this without spoiler? I think I can say this without it being too big of a spoiler. They turned off his pain nanites. So basically, if someone were to punch him in the face, instantly healing and pain nanites would kick in, so he'd get healed really fast, and he would not feel pain, and it would deaden his senses. So they turned his pain nanites off and his healing nanites, and then beat him up. So that kind of shows what was going on. But yeah, it also left off on a cliffhanger-ish, and I still need to read Thunderhead. I'm only like on chapter 6, and it's so good, so good. We'll go with historical fiction next. I'll admit I probably need a bit of a refresher for this one. Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. Okay. A novel Sorry, I'm tired. Let me repeat that. A knock comes at the door in the dead of night, and Lena's life changes in an instant. With her younger brother and mother, she is hauled away by the Soviet secret police from her home in Lithuania and thrown into a cattle cart en route to Siberia. Separated from her father, Lena secretly passes along clues in the form of drawings, hoping they will reach his prison camp. But will her letters, or her courage, be enough to reunite her family? Will they be enough to keep her alive? So, this is, about the whole Lithuania and the Russians transporting them to Siberia. Lena was a fun character. She would draw cartoonish and kind of like, they could have gotten her in trouble kind of drawings of, I think it was Hitler or Stalin. I think it might have been Stalin. But she slayed. Her little brother, what's his name? Why can't I remember? Jeez, oh Pete, this isn't great. Oh no, I can't. What is it? Jonas! I thought it was Joshua. I was close. Jonas was, well, he's, I think, like 12. He's a 12-year-old boy. Forced into that as well. So that wasn't. I liked him a lot. But I also really liked Andreas, who is a little bit kind of the love interest. But there's not a lot of romance. It's mostly about, what happened. So many people die. And it's just kind of really sad. But there's a hopeful ending, which I enjoyed. But the cattle cars were not great. They sound really crappy to be in. I do not want to be in them. And then working all day for like a potato when they get to the camp. Or digging holes and you get a potato. I was like, what are you talking about? A potato for digging holes. Yeah. This is a really good book. But man, it really makes you think about history. About how Between Shades of Grey, really, because one of the Russian soldiers was a little extra lenient towards Lena, her mother, and Jonas. But then there were others who exploited, I think is the word. I might have pronounced that wrong. Andreas's mother. And it just really shows that some people, are a little more on they try to help and others just don't. And it's Ruta Sepetys in general, historical fiction that will make you think about history. It is so good. Next one is Dystopia. Sunrise on the Reaping. Any Hunger Games fans out there? This was depressing. Sorry, I need to read Okay. When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? As the day dawns on the 50th annual Hunger Games, fear grips the districts of Panem. I probably pronounced that wrong as well. Okay, you know what? Gotta keep reading. This year, in honor of the Quarter Quell, twice as many tributes will be taken from their homes. Back in District 12, Hamish Abernathy is trying not to think too hard about his chances. All he cares about is making it through the day and being with the girl he loves. When Hamish's name is called, he can feel all his dreams break. He's torn from his family and his love, shuttled to the capital with the 3 other District 12 tributes, a young friend who's nearly a sister to him, a compulsive odds maker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. As the games begin, Hamish understands he's been set up to fail. But there's something in him that wants to fight, and have that fight reverberate far beyond the deadly arena. Oh, Hamish. Hamish and Wyatt were my favorites. One, Hamish was just, oh man. If you read this and then reread The Hunger Games, knowing this, it just makes it even more heartbreaking. Because you know he's the sole survivor. And it's just really, really sad. So if you want a light read, do not read this. And of course, Wyatt ends up dying. But he was, I really liked him. He was a little on the, not socially blind, but he mentioned some odd stuff at the wrong times, and it was hilarious. And he was kind of like, Hamish tried to do what Katniss did, you know? It didn't work. And that just makes it even more sad. I never cry while reading books, and this almost made me cry. It almost did. So, yeah, it was. This is not a light read. The setting was, of course, you know, an arena, but it was like this weirdly perfect one, you know, where everything was lush and green and all that. Definitely deceiving, but, and the plot, you know, was also heartbreaking. Actually, where's the... It doesn't start until like halfway, the actual games, because there's so much stuff that goes on before. And you need to read this, even if you've never read The Hunger Games, you need to read it. It is so good. But I need to like get on to the last 2 books before like this gets into like half an hour long. I just said like so many times. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm tired. Okay. Thriller and mystery. The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I have not read her A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, but I want to. And I need to read the blurb. Oh my gosh. Lights, camera, lies. 18-year-old Belle has lived her whole life in the shadow of her mom's mysterious disappearance. 16 years ago, Rachel Price vanished, and young Belle was the only witness. Rachel is gone, presumed dead. The case is dragged up from the past when the Price family agrees to a true crime documentary. Belle can't wait for filming to end, for life to go back to normal. But then Rachel Price appears, and life will never be normal again. With the camera still rolling, Belle must uncover the truth about her mother and find out why Rachel Price really came back from the dead. Belle slayed. Like, she pushes people away on purpose, but the way she does it is sometimes funny because it's a lot of, you know, kind of mean, snide, snarky remarks. And I liked how... I just liked her character in general, how she was like, I am gonna figure out why you're here, and I don't give a cookie. I don't give a cookie. Oh my gosh. If anybody is gonna challenge me, I don't care, like that kind of thing. She has a really close relationship to her father. She doesn't remember her mother, you know, it's that kind of thing. And then Ash. Oh my gosh. Quirky Londoner Ash. He's like the brother-in-law of Ramsey Lee, the producer. I pronounce that really weird. Producer slash director of the, film thing that they're doing. He was so fun. He wears like ridiculous things. Like, here, let me find his first outfit. It's here somewhere. Give me 1 second. Found it. He wore flared tartan pants and a bright purple sweater with little green and yellow dinosaurs marching across his chest. Are you kidding me? He slays. I just really liked him, and how he, instead of like being pushed away by Belle's snarky, he would just snark. Oh my, I'm so tired. Maybe I should have not filmed it today, but you know what? I'm getting off topic. Anyway, I really liked how he instead replied with like smiles and then like talking right back. That was really enjoyable. The setting is some sort of small town in New Hampshire. New Hampshire? Anyway, small town, got that vibe. No, I don't think, it doesn't go out of that at all. It stays pretty much directly in that town. The plot, I swear, every time I thought I knew where it was going, it went from where it was, where I thought it was going, and then it went in that way, just all the way that way, past this wall that way. Holly Jackson, I've learned, is really, really good at creating mysteries that make perfect sense after you figured out the big plot twist, but don't make sense until you get there. It was really so good. All in all, read it. Although, a little bit of caution, it has a lot of swears. So if you're sensitive to that, maybe take a pass on this. But outside of that, all of the books I recommend are like clean in the sense of romance. There are some swears in some of these books though, so beware. Science fiction and fantasy. Renegades by Marissa Mayer. I love this book. I love this series so much. I could like read it over and over again and never get sick of it. Okay, I'm gonna read the blurb now. Secret identities, extraordinary powers. She wants vengeance, he wants justice. The Renegades are a syndicate of prodigies. Humans with extraordinary abilities who emerged from the ruins of a crumbled society and established peace and order where chaos reigned. As champions of justice, they remain a symbol of hope and courage to everyone, except the villains they once overthrew. Nova has a reason to hate the Renegades, and she's on a mission. Why? She is on a mission for vengeance. As she gets closer to her target, she meets Adrian, a renegade boy who believes in justice and in Nova. But Nova's allegiance is to a villain who has the power to end them both. Nova and Adrian, I love them so much. Nova is like, she slays, she makes gadgets. I accidentally bumped the mic. And it might be dead. Yeah, no, I don't think it's dead yet. Sorry. Focus. Nova's just kind of kick butt all around. Her power is, if she touches someone, she can instantly put them to sleep, which is why she's called Nightmare. Her villain name is Nightmare, but her renegade name is Insomnia, because she also doesn't ever need to sleep. And that stems from, well, the prologue. The prologue is her parents and her baby sister get shot. This is not a light read. Do not read it if you're sensitive to things like violence, because there's a lot of violence. Adrian is, oh my gosh, I loved him. His power is to like draw things into existence, but it's more like intention based. So you can draw a stick dinosaur figure and it'll behave like a dinosaur, it just won't look like one. I think that's actually that is something that happens. I don't know which book it's mentioned in, but he did do that when he was little, and I found that hilarious. But he has glasses. I'm sorry, but he has glasses and he slays with them. And the secret identity thing, he's actually also the Sentinel, because, of course, like any smart 16 or 17-year-old, he decides to tattoo himself with powers. Tattoo. But, I mean, he gets to be the Sentinel, so. Yeah, the setting is very much crumbled. It's like, it reminded me a little bit of New York and Avengers, but if the Avengers had come after, like, Ultron, for example, ruled the city and completely wrecked it, but not, like, trying to destroy all of humanity type thing. The plot, oh my gosh. So many things happen. It's really, as you can tell by the length, so many things. But they all connect, you know? It's not like a disjointed or incoherent plot. It's really good. But it also has the cast of characters right there. And I really liked Ruby and Oscar. Oscar has a cane, and he slays. And, like, then Cyanide, I think, aka Leroy, was probably my favorite anarchist. He was just kind of quirky, and I loved it. And he's kind of like a dad to Nova in a way. And then, I'll admit, I saw a lot of reasoning behind some of Nova's beliefs of there shouldn't be prodigies. That word always trips me up. And, I could go on about this, but I'll just give you a basic sum of, like, one of the big things, without spoilers. She joins the Renegades. Secret identities galore. And, I mean, she maintains them throughout all of this. She's got mad skills. What can she say? And, yeah, it's superheroes, and more superheroes, but, like, with a bit of a darker lens to it, which I really enjoyed. There. And there you have it. Those are some books per some genres. Some of my favorites. Honestly, if you've read all of these, then please comment that, because if you've read all of these, you have similar reading tastes to mine, and maybe you have a recommendation that I like. But anyway, I'm so bad at outros. Give me a second. Nope, that's the wrong card. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe, all that. If you have any book recommendations, as long as they're clean. If you have any video recommendations, or if you just want to say, you know what, I've read that book, or you know what, it sounds like that book slays, then comment, share, because I've hit 11 subscribers, which is really exciting because, you know, I haven't been a YouTuber for very long. But, you know, my next goal is like 20 or something. I know, small steps. But sharing can really help with that. And I think that's about it. Oh, I have scheduled some shorts, one for Friday and one for Monday. They are book recommendation shorts, and they both have appeared in this video, just so you know. But they're based off of tropes and not off of what I've shared. So if you want to see them, just check them out at those days. I'm rambling, so I'm going to end the video now.